Yo guys, what is good? Welcome back to the Uncle Sharma channel. Here we are for a Inter versus Sampdoria match review. I've chosen to call it match review instead of match reaction because I'm doing this a little bit later than usual. Usually you get my my match reaction, 10 minutes or whatever, or straight after the match has ended. But today, because I was away, I watched a little bit of the match in the first half, and then now got back home, rewatched it fully, and yeah, now I can give you a more of a calmer, match review and get your calmer probably views. When you watch a match straight away, you can definitely be a little bit more reactionary, a little bit more, your takes can be a little bit more hot, definitely. But I think if you take a little bit of time away, rewatch some things, and you can I think you can have better takes. But yeah, you guys let me know, let me see what your reactions are at the moment. 2-2, obviously not the result that we wanted. I predicted a 2-1 victory for Inter, which was the scoreline in the first half, and hopefully, well, I wanted it to remain as that so I could go on the live stream. But no, it was 2-2 in the end, and we actually had to hold on in the end. We had to hold on for the draw in the end because we were left in 10 man by my boy Stefano Sensi. Oh man, it was, I've stopped defending him a long time ago, really, because there's nothing to defend anymore. But now it's I don't like making the jokes on him because a lot of people, like make the jokes about his injuries, and I go as far as calling them glass man and glass muscles and things like that. But I don't want to, the guy obviously has some mental issues as well when it comes to his injuries now, because he's had so many, and it definitely affects him on the mental side of things. But this guy can't be an athlete, surely. There's no way this guy should continue being an athlete. Like, he can't do it. His body just can't take professional football, professional, the intensity of professional football at this high level. He just can't. His body just can't take it. And I don't know what needs to happen. You could say Inter should have sold him, Inter should have done that, but who's gonna buy a guy who's injured this much? No one's gonna buy a guy who's injured this much. No one's gonna take a gamble on him. There was rumors of Fiorentina maybe being interested, but obviously it would be like a loan. But even then, there was no. I don't think there was any concrete approaches. There was rumors of also Shakhtar, because De Zerbi's at Shakhtar Donetsk now, and he's, De Zerbi compared him to Iniesta, and he really loves Sensi. But I feel sorry, man. Some of the pictures as well, Sensi tried. He tried as well. Like after that, the challenge with Audero, with Yoshida, it was a ball-on-ball challenge as well. Those ones sometimes, you can come off worse, but it wasn't the worst challenge in the world. And poor guy, it looks like he was crying at the end as well, like in pain. I think he just has a very low pain threshold as well, which it doesn't help with everything. But yeah, I don't want to make it too much about Sensi, but yeah, it looks like he might be out for a month now from what the reports I'm hearing. So yeah, that train, the hype train, the Sensi hype train, already crashed and burned as expected. I expected it to be maybe end of September, October. I thought this hype train would go on for a little bit longer, sell us a dream a little bit, give us some good performances, maybe a goal here and there. But no, the train stopped before I even left the platform. But we know the deal with Stefano Sensi. But yeah, let me see who's in the house, and let me see your initial comments on everything that's gone on today. We got Sharif, channel member, in the house. What's up, bro? Thank you for popping through. Language Tours in the house as well. Nice to see you. The game man's asked, do you think Chala should be on the bench next game, start Vidal next? Yeah, we'll talk about towards the end, after we talked about the Sampdoria game. We could talk a little bit about the Real Madrid game, and I have a preview lined up tomorrow with a Real Madrid fan. With Dasa, he's actually been on the channel last year when we did the Real Madrid preview. Great Real Madrid fan. So yeah, that will be a good preview tomorrow. Just as expected, but 7 points rather than 1. Yeah. Unlike some people from Turin, we're not on 1 point, we're on 7 points, which is not shabby at all. And that's why my reaction today, guys, is not going to be particularly negative. If you're looking for a negative reaction, this is not the channel. I thought it was a decent match. It was hard fought as expected. Time to sell Sensi. Yeah, Mohamed, it's time to sell Sensi, but who's going to buy him? That's the issue. Who's going to buy him? The best hope you have with Sensi, which is what we're trying to do, is try to give him at least some playing, some games under his belt, so we can actually sell him. No one's going to buy it because he's on the books. He's going to cost at least, without us making the loss, is going to be at least 10-12 million euros without making the loss. So yeah, it's looking very difficult at the moment. Yeah, Milan did look very dominant today. I'm not going to speak about them because we're going to talk about the Sampdoria match mainly. We could speak about other things at the end, but Milan looked really, really good. Really good. Annoyingly good. Inter just ruined the rest of my week. Wow, Andrea, I think that's a little bit harsh. I was expecting a very lackluster performance. It's the international break. It's the international break hangover. We've seen it so many times, especially with Inter, because we have so many South American players. These guys, I was not expecting Lautaro to start, to be honest. I was surprised to see Lautaro start, but you could just see that physically the team wasn't quite there, and obviously having to play 10 men in the last 20 minutes, it doesn't help. But it's a draw. I mean, yes, Milan and Napoli got two. They're the only two teams with 9 points out of 9, but we're still up there, 7 points. Not too bad at all. So your week is very easily ruined, Andrea, if that's the level. Milan winning made this day even worse. Yeah, but let's not look at it's only the beginning of the season. Let's not look too much what other teams are doing. Let's not forget, guys, how we started last season as well. We started off quite shabby last year, but with Inzaghi coming in, I'm happy to have a little stumbling start to him. Understand who he wants in the team, get the patterns of play going. The first two matches actually played better than I expected. So, I expected a match like this in between. Called it with the ref, so many cards. Yeah, Orsato, yeah, he was, to be fair, the free kick that we got given for Di Marco's goal was quite soft. Lautaro, he got brushed in the face and he went down, and I think he is a little bit of a softer free kick there. Onze Milano in the house as well. Handa needs to go. Yeah, man. It's every match now. Every match is worrying. Every time you look at Handanovic, you just don't trust him to make the right decision or to make a reaction. Omar Colley's goal. Sorry, not Omar Colley's goal. The header that led to Yoshida's goal after the Dzeko deflection. Handanovic should have come out. He's a looping header, and Handanovic he makes a movement to come out. He makes like a little fake, hesitant, and he doesn't do it. By the time we would have got there, because the ball was so looping, and that would have been cleared, or you could have just caught it, and the danger would have been gone. Yeah. As you said, bro, his decision to stay in the 6-yard box is the reason for that first goal. And Dzeko's so unlucky with that one, nutmegged straight through his legs and deflected in. Obviously, he couldn't have saved that one, Handanovic. And the second one, again, is the not moving. I don't think he would have saved that. I don't think any keeper would have saved that, because Augello catches that volley so sweetly, top corner, roof of the net, I think it was as well. So, unless you've got the reflexes of Superman, you're not going to catch that one. But it's just the not moving for both goals once again. It just makes it look worse. But in general, even apart from those two things, it just doesn't give us that confidence anymore at the back. It's just we live in fear when we watch Inter play and when we watch Handanovic. Yeah, Sensi, the glass man. Barca will take it their own by fools. Hey, yeah, exactly. You never know with Barca. These guys, I wouldn't put it past them. Sanchez starting against Madrid. Yeah, we'll see, but I doubt it. The guys had 0 minutes. He didn't even get minutes today. You can't start a player who hasn't had any minutes for 2 months now. He's been out for 2 months. You have to ease him back in, Sanchez. I really, really don't see that happening, to be honest. Could a Correa-Martinez partnership be the choice for the future? Yeah, for sure, bro. I think that is going to be the partnership for the future. I liked how Correa came on today. For sure. But yeah, let me quickly look into the player ratings and the match statistics. Overall, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't a great match. But could we have done better? For sure. Average positions here, you can see Inter is pretty much a 3-5-1-1, but it's not Lautaro actually the one you'd expect Lautaro to be, when you think about it, but it's Dzeko, the deeper one, who drops in. He comes a little bit too deep, I think. I really appreciate his technical ability and how he can come deep and stuff, but I want him to be a little bit higher up. He didn't even have a goal scoring opportunity this match, did he? Like, I want him to be more involved in the box. I want him to be more of a goal threat. It's nice having this regista avanzato type thing that he does, the being able to bring other people into play. But yeah, we really lack kind of people in the box and a little bit of a cutting edge up there sometimes. And today, I feel like we needed Dzeko to be more higher up. And yeah, you can see Di Marco and Perisic are almost in the exact same position there. And that was due to Candreva. As we knew, Candreva, look, he's the most advanced player for them. He was on peak form today. This guy, he looked like he was Roberto Baggio out there today. Candreva, switching sides, switching play, getting past people, crosses, shots, This guy turning back the clock against Inter as we expected, the curse of the X. He didn't score today, at least. I was expecting like a screamer from him, but that didn't happen. But yeah, he did give us a lot of trouble. Him and Berezinski on the right-hand side really tested Perisic and Di Marco. Di Marco, I was looking at very closely today because I am very unsure about him in this left centre-back position, honestly speaking, because the defensive side of the game is his weaker side and he's short. So both of those things combined don't really... in my mind and practically, I don't think make him to be an ideal left centre back of a 3. But it's doable. It's doable as we've seen today. And you rather have that than Kolarov, honestly speaking. So you'd rather do that than Kolarov. And because of the lack of options at the moment, I think maybe a Darmian would be ideal there, or D'Ambrosio. But I think because Darmian had to play right wing backs today, Dumfries hasn't been risked from the beginning yet. So I think he just had to play Di Marco there, which was good. He was fine. And of course that goal, wow, what a goal. And I've saved like a picture of the free kick. Like, you couldn't have hit that better. Like, literally is getting the cobwebs out of the corner, like right in the 7, as they say. No chance for Audero. I mean, it was on his post, but you don't expect the keeper to save that one because it's literally unsavable, that one. Credit to Di Marco, man. That was beautiful. And this is even more zoomed in. Like, look at that. Look how far his hands are from that. Like, the ball is already pretty much in, and look how far his hands are from getting that. It's unsavable, that one. And that's what Federico Di Marco adds to this team. Another set piece specialist adding to Inter's. We went from years, the most of the decade we've had, after Wesley Sneijder left, and a little bit when we had a Hernandez, but we never really, for most of the decade, had a set piece specialist. And then last season, finally, Christian Eriksen coming in, giving us that threat. And now this season, we got Hakan and Di Marco. And Inzaghi actually talked about it in his post-match press conference. He mentions it. Where does he mention it? Yeah, here. He says, final word was on Di Marco. He says he's a great asset for us. He's been doing really well. He can play as a third defender and a winger. It's a pleasure to watch him in training. I had to take him off because he put in a shift and got cramp in the 62nd minute. So yeah, nothing to worry about in terms of Di Marco. It was just a cramp. I think it was his first start in a while. So yeah, apparently it was his first start. This is, was it 3 years or something? The commentator said something. It was quite interesting fact. What his last start for Inter was. He's fantastic at free kicks. I was saying, just like Chala, they often stay back after training to practice, and is a key option for us. Even at corners, you can see both of them. They go for both of them go for the corners. One of them does the little dummy run, and the other one takes it. So yeah, it's such a good option to have. Having two really good set piece takers is such a weapon to have, and it's such a weapon that we've really lacked over the years, really. Bamibele live from Nairobi, Kenya. Nice to see the worldwide representation in the house. Yeah, and definitely, DiMarco, he was definitely good, but as we've talked about, the drop down from Bastoni to everyone else is really big. Like in the other positions, when you go from Skriniar, usually D'Ambrosio, again, especially against these types of teams, he usually does a decent job. De Vrij to Ranocchia is a massive drop off, but usually he manages to not make it too bad. But when we go from Bastoni to, we've seen DiMarco, who was okay today, but Kolarov or anyone else is quite a big drop off usually. And because it's, you need a left footed player in that position. So if you put anyone else out there, it's a little bit of a struggle. And we really, really need Bastoni. I think, Bastoni is the key one that needs to come back for the Real Madrid match. But it looks like he will be out for that match as well at the moment. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that, fingers crossed. But it looks like we might see DiMarco once again at the left centre-back position, unless Inzaghi opts for a different option. Berat says he hopes Dumfries starts against Madrid. Yeah, he actually looked good. What did you guys make of Dumfries? I was quite impressed by him when he came on. I think looking back on it, I think maybe he could have even started this match because it was quite a physical match. On that side, who was it? Augello, Damsgaard, doubling up. It was quite a physical match in general, and I feel like Dumfries' physicality could have really made a difference as it did when he came on the second half. Darmian struggled today. Darmian, this is more kind of like the Darmian that I expected to see after Conte left. Struggle because we never really got him involved much. Oh wow, who scored actually gave him the lowest rating on the team, 5.9, which is maybe a little bit harsh, but maybe deserved as well. But yeah, I can see why. He was not good today, Darmian, but he stayed on for the full 90, I believe, didn't he? Because he went on to left wing back after Dumfries came on. Barella gave him man of the match quite deservedly. He had an assist, great assist, man, great assist. Let me see if I can find the actual. No, actually, I'm not gonna take a risk with the. I was gonna take a risk to show you the video of the goal for the copyright, but let's not take a risk there. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it, but credit there for Hakan in that goal, by the way, because he's the one who won. He won the ball back. 6.4 here, given by who scored. And I think it wasn't a great match by Hakan, but he won the ball back from Damsgaard for the goal. Gave it to Barella, who drove. Got past two players, great, ball carrying, which I always say is what this Inter midfield needs. Barella adds it sometimes, and today was one of those times he added it. Great ball to Lautaro, who underrated finish, that very ice cool with his weaker foot as well. We've asked him to add more composure to his game, and that was a very, very composed finish by Martinez today. Impressed. And as I said, I wasn't expecting him to start, so he gave his all out there, but he definitely didn't look like he was in shape. So fair play to him. Brozovic, I think, had another down match. 2 matches in a row now, I would say, is a little bit of a down match. Against Hellas Verona, he wasn't great, and Inzaghi is very keen to take him off. If I know pointed this out in the Verona match that, and because it's just because it was such a. You being used to 2 years of Conte, who pretty much Brozovic or Barella, one of them was pretty much, at least, or even both of them usually would get, 85, 90 minutes for sure. But with with Inzaghi, today, what was it like? When was 54th minute? He took Brozovic out, 54th minute for Vidal and Perisic. So this guy does not wait around to make changes. It's literally the opposite of Conte. And today, it came back to bite us, to be honest, because he used up the 5 substitutes in a very quick succession. So 2 substitutes on the 54th minute, and then Correa for Lautaro. This one made sense, of course, because Lautaro definitely didn't have 90 minutes in his legs. So that one definitely made sense. I don't know if the Brozovic for Vidal made that much sense in the 54th minute, but maybe because he was on a yellow card as well. And as I said, he did have a bit of a down match. And then D'Ambrosio for Perisic made sense to let DiMarco go up in the left wing back position. But then these ones here, using up the Stefano Sensi substitution and Dumfries at the same time. So you've made your 5 substitution at the 68th minute. You got 20 2 minutes plus added time. I think little bit naive, that substitution by Inzaghi, and that is one of the issues that we pointed out. When we signed Inzaghi as the new coach, when Jerry Mancini came on to explain to us about Inzaghi, when Stephen K. Moore from the Laziali explained, what are Inzaghi's weaknesses, and he talked about substitutions, and we saw today, we like to see, he's proactive at least. It's literally the opposite of Conte. With Conte today, he probably would have made like 2 substitutions. He would have put on like, he would have took off Hakan for, Vidal or someone, and he would have put on Correa for Lautaro or something like that, and that's it. Maybe one other of the would have put Dumfries. He was to change the wing backs, didn't he? But with Inzaghi, you never know. This guy is very free-handed, heavy-handed with his substitution. But I think he needs to find the middle ground. Like, I like that he's very proactive with it and he tries to change it around. And especially now that we have a deep bench, using it. But I think you shouldn't try to use your 5 substitutions at the 68th minute. We weren't losing at that point, so you could wait until the 85th minute to make that last substitution. And especially if it's someone like Stefano Sensi, who's very unreliable. So those are, we've seen the pros and cons of Simone Inzaghi. The back line, in general, not much to comment on. I was impressed. They didn't have, too much to do. Quagliarella and Caputo didn't really get involved too much. And the goals, there was nothing they could do really. Just complete, innocuous goals, especially the first one. As you said, it should be Handanovic coming out to clear that or grab it, and then deflected shot. And then the other one, Berezinski crossing it over to this side to Augello, and Berezinski didn't mean to do that cross. I can guarantee you he didn't mean to do that cross. And then Augello, I pointed him out in the pre-match preview that it could be a weakness because he made him against Milan. He was a weak point for them, but no, against Inter, of course, he had to ball out and scored the goal of his career probably. It is what it is. It is what it is. But I don't have much to follow in the back line, to be honest. And in the midfield, Hakan, as I said, was disappointing. Just as he was against Hellas Verona, him and Brozovic both kind of had 2 okay matches. But Hakan today, I was impressed with his off the ball, actually. He was pressing a lot. He was running back a lot. He was working really hard. He showed a side to his game that I know that he had, but I didn't really get to see much of it. And today I got to see it, winning the ball back a few times, losing it a little bit too much. And he should have scored, Hakan, or not scored, but at least got it on target. That it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a 1v1 opportunity, but the goal opened up to him. And he tried to give the goalkeeper the eyes. He tried to tell him that he was going to go for a curler far post, but then he closed the shot near post. And Aldero was sold, like he was beaten, but closed the shot a little bit too much and it went wide. But he should have done better there. Perisic, he was better than Darmian for sure, but it wasn't a great match for Perisic. But again, I think his physicality helped in this match. And once again, like Hakan, I think he should have scored or either assisted Dzeko, because in the end, that cross shot ended up being neither. I think, I'm not sure if he was shooting or if he was crossing. Dzeko was pretty pissed with him because, if he was crossing, he should have done it a little bit softer to him. And if he was shooting, he should have got it on target. And Dzeko, as I said, great. He's given a 7 out of 10 by Who Scored. Because he won, headers. He completed a lot of passes. I think he got the most dribbles completed as well, did he? Yeah, Edin Dzeko with 2 dribbles completed, which is the most in the match. His technical ability once again coming out. But I want more goal threat from him. He had that potentially that one that I just mentioned, the Perisic one that Perisic should have passed it to him really, but I want more goal threat from Dzeko. I want him to be involved in there. I want him to shoot more and be, involved in the goal scoring opportunities and things like that. But overall, guys, as I said, what are the stats? I think the stats don't look great, but as I said, we were in 10 man for 20 minutes at the end. Sampdoria had more attempts, more from open play, from set pieces as well. Yeah, look, you see the attack side, the Kandreva side is heavily skewed for them on 44%. Where's the match facts? Match report, maybe. Yeah. Wait, actually, let me go on here. Sampdoria Inter stats. Yeah, so 48% possession. So yeah, we got outpossessed. 8 shots to the 14. 3. It's both the teams same on target. Yeah. So all in all, not too bad. Ooh, Roma are winning. What's the Roma score? 1-0. Brian Cristante. Ooh, half time. Interesting. Who assisted that? Ooh, Lorenzo Pellegrini with the assist. Nice. But yeah, anyway, going back to Inter. It was. I was expecting this type of match, but it's not the end of the end of the world, guys. 7 points out of 9. You have Juventus with 1 point. You have obviously Milan and Napoli that have 9, so it's not too bad. Now, though, is really where the difficult period begins with the Champions League coming in, the rotation needed. This is what we see. Really what Inzaghi is made of, what this team is made of, and fingers crossed for everyone staying fit in this period, because this is when the squad starts to get stretched, and if he starts to get injuries now, this is when the issues start to arrive. Uriel Castro in the house says Tuku could play in Hakan place. He plays in midfield in Argentina sometimes. Yeah, we saw that with Sensi, being crippled at the end. They moved Sensi in the strike position and they moved Correa back because they saw that Sensi was basically just walking around, so they had to move Correa back. But that's not Correa's position. He could play there, but that's one position that we're actually quite stacked in. I don't think we need to play Correa in that position at all. That'll be quite risky. He doesn't have the movement. In that position in Serie A, remember how long it took Conte to play Eriksen in that position, and Inzaghi with Luis Alberto took a long time to train him to play that position. So I wouldn't expect Correa to play that position really at Inter at any point. But as you say, if he plays that for Argentina, I wouldn't be surprised in emergencies if we're like all out attack. Bring on Sanchez, bring on Correa to try to do some next level formation. It could work, but no, I want to see Correa, in one of the striker positions for sure. Julian in the house, thank you for catching the live stream. Sub-Zero says, watching Milan dominating against Lazio after our performance today made me worried. I hope we do better against Madrid. Yeah, once again, guys, let's not compare too much. Milan are a solidified team. They're one of the few teams that kept the same coach, same core of the team. They've added depth to the team. So I expected Milan to be improving this year. And they did look really good, but let's not look into it too much yet. We saw them have a little drop off after Christmas period last year. Nora says Dumfries was decent. He couldn't do much because we played with 10 men. Yeah, exactly. You can't judge him too much, but I wouldn't be against him starting against Real Madrid. He has to start now at some point, surely. Victor says Dumfries look good, but man, I miss Hakimi. Yeah. But today was not a match for Hakimi. Today, like if you remember. And also, let's not forget, guys, we lost this exact match last season under Conte to Sampdoria. And it was very similar to this, very physical, very, stop-start. And we had chances like today, which we didn't take in that match. Sanchez missed the penalty and there was other chances. And, we were punished in that match. But today, this time, we scored 2, but we had even more chances. And in the end, managed to get at least a point. And Hakimi was pretty, when there's no spaces and the matches were quite physical, Hakimi was pretty useless. So today it wasn't the match for Hakimi for sure. But Dumfries did look good. Brozo was not terrible in his opinion, Bouillon says, but he was heavily man-marked. Yeah. We've seen Brozovic recently when he's man-marked, against Hellas Verona, when these teams that come out heavy pressing. Oh yeah, credit to Sampdoria as well. Not all about how Inter played sloppily or not physically quite there. Credit to D'Aversa. Sampdoria pressed really well. They pressed really high, aggressively, physical, and yeah, they didn't make it simple. And this is the matches where we see Brozovic doesn't quite have the state of mind or the ability to kind of get out of those tight spots at times, and this is where he struggles at times. And we see with Hakan as well, similar. It was a similar match to the Hellas Verona, actually, when you look at it. They played different formation, but the way they pressed us was very similar. Someone needs to replace Perisic. He's slow with and without the ball. I disagree, Sub-Zero. I mean, as I said, I hope DiMarco is the one that long-term and towards the, soon takes over that position. But I disagree that he's slow with and without the ball. We saw, he could have scored in that goal. He made that great movement in behind where Brozovic found him. And yeah, Brozovic had two great passes. There was that one to Lautaro in behind the defense in the first half, and that pass to Perisic where, Perisic should have scored or passed it to Dzeko. So even with a pretty down match, Brozovic, there was still two very key passes that he made. But I don't know with Perisic. It seems like I'm one of the few people that seems to, like the guy. Seems to be quite widely disliked in the Inter fan base for some reason. I don't think he would have made 5 subs so early if DiMarco wasn't hurt. True, he wouldn't. But we've seen he is pretty full on with the substitutes. But yeah, that is true. The DiMarco cramps didn't help proceedings for sure. Onze says, honestly, in the end, we lost the match because we missed 3 golden chances. Yeah, exactly, bro. Which was the Toro one? I don't remember Toro missing particularly any gilt-edged or, great chances. I know there was that one where Barella put him through, but then, Adrian Silva came in and kicked it away. So yeah, Toro didn't even get to shoot there. So I hope you don't mean that one, because I wouldn't count that as really a chance for you, to be honest. But yeah, the Hakan and Perisic for sure, we should have done better there. Yeah, you could say 2 points drop for sure. Now, this is an interesting question, King Darian. Yeah, we've seen it against Hellas Verona. It hasn't blossomed yet, the partnership. They don't really find each other. We haven't seen any sort of 1-2s or patterns of play between them, how we used to see between obviously, that guy, the guy who went to Chelsea, that big guy. So we're not seeing those at the moment, but I think it's going to take time. But I'm not sure, because the problem with this partnership is Dzeko is the one that comes deeper, whereas it was Lukaku who was the one that, Lautaro was the one that, Lukaku also came deep sometimes like Dzeko does. But most of the time, Lautaro was the one that was coming in and around, roaming around Lukaku and getting the ball off him. Whereas, yeah, Lautaro and Dzeko seem to be very distant at the moment. They're not very close like Lukaku and Lautaro were. Dzeko goes all around the field. And yeah, it doesn't seem like that's the partnership doesn't seem to be blooming as of yet. I think, in my opinion, this should be the Correa-Lautaro partnership. I think the Argentinian connection, making Lautaro kind of the main guy and having Correa in behind him roaming around, creating chances and dribbling and trying to do 1-2s. I think that's, in my mind, that's the ideal, and especially long-term as well with Dzeko, 35 years old. I don't really see a long-term use for Dzeko. But I'm not going to, fail it yet as a partnership, but we haven't really seen it work for now. But let's give them some time, man. They haven't really had training ground time, really, because Lautaro's been away with the international and also Dzeko. Let's give them a few weeks to, have some, training time together. Since he was actually subbed out for Gagliardini. Was he actually? I didn't notice that. Who cares about Mourinho? Yeah, I was just, you replying to the IFTV fan. Yeah, no, that's a football heritage right there. Shouts out to him for sure. You think we can go and give PSG the money back and take Hakimi? No, bro. That was the Hakimi one is actually the one that saved us. The Lukaku one was the extra one. The Hakimi one is the one that we actually really needed to sell. So unfortunately, we can't. I don't think we kept the receipt, the 30-day money back guarantee. Yeah. I hope we don't have a lot of injuries. Yeah, this is where we'll learn about, Inzaghi's backroom staff as well. The physical trainer, the guy, Fabio Ripert, the replacement for Pintus. We'll see. This is where, and Inzaghi, obviously, in terms of managing energies, managing the players, this is where we'll see what he's made of when this busy period comes up. Lazio midfield flop. Milan parked the bus for 90 minutes. Both goals came from counters. Hey, man. That is very far from the truth. Lazio didn't do anything. And I wouldn't say Milan parked the bus. Counter-attacking doesn't mean parking the bus. Lazio literally didn't do anything. Kessie was man marking Milinkovic-Savic like a shadow. And as usual, Milinkovic-Savic always seems to have a stinker against Milan, and he did it against once again today. But yeah, it was pretty much all Milan. Like, it was completely dominated. I don't know what match you watched, Gerald. I really disagree with you there. Like, Milan were very impressive. Good news is that Real Madrid is losing at home to Celta. Ooh, are they actually? Let me have a quick look. Real Madrid. But you guys, that doesn't really matter, because Real Madrid and the Champions League is a completely different ball game, as we saw last year. Like, these guys can be, missing every single player in the world, but when it comes to Champions League, they somehow manage to, get through. Yeah, 2-1 at the halftime. Benzema goal. Dominating possession, but similar stats in terms of shots. So yeah, what's the lineup looking like? I mean, yeah, guys, look at that. That back line is very, I know Real Madrid is always Real Madrid, but that back line, with Ramos not being there anymore, Varane gone, like, that is a very susceptible back line. Who the hell even is this guy? Miguel Gutierrez, I don't even know who he is. But yeah, obviously tomorrow we'll find out from the Real Madrid fan I have coming on to give us a preview. And obviously the midfield is obviously goated. Yeah, so interesting. Sendo says he expected a draw after the cursed international week. Yeah, exactly, bro. I predicted a 2-1 win, but I'm really not surprised that it's a 2-2 draw. I think we should really tone down some of the harsh criticism. And let's not forget some of the players, guys. Vidal came back on Thursday night and he had one training. And literally his Instagram post was him knocked out on the sofa because he was so tired from like the jet lag and traveling, and he was criticizing the calendar as well, like how much traveling Chile had to do. Lautaro and Correa came back on Friday, so literally some of these guys had literally nothing to run on. So, like, they probably didn't have a proper sleep or anything. So really, I'm really not surprised about this performance. Abdullah says, I wouldn't judge Hakan now in third match, but it really makes me so afraid. I hate this type of players. Play some matches with perfect and other matches didn't do well. Yeah. But yeah, I agree that we shouldn't jump on that hate train. Like, I know Milan fans have been telling us that this is how this guy is, super inconsistent. He'll do one match like the Genoa where he's 8 out of 10, and then the next 5 matches he'll be the 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 performances like last couple of matches. But new system, new coach, new way of playing, different teammates. Let's give him some time. And as long as he keeps providing good set piece threat like he's been doing, like even today he had some good corner kicks. That's what I want from Hakan. Even if he doesn't play well, at least give us something from that peach of a right foot that he has. And yeah, when he has those chances in front of goal, he needs to take them, or at least test the keeper, man. We need Kostic to replace Perisic in the winter transfer. Yeah, man, that would be ideal. But I don't think the replacing Perisic is that has to be in the winter transfer. I'm not sure where the Perisic hate today is coming from. I didn't think he was particularly that bad. But yeah, a long-term Perisic contract expires at the end of this season. I think Kostic is definitely profile Inter need to look at. Correa and Lautaro for the Real game. Yeah, that's what I'm leading to for sure. I want to see that Cola partnership. I want to see that against Real Madrid. He's joking about Gallia. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see any substitutions. I expected more from Lazio, to be honest. Yeah, I did expect a lot more from Lazio. I was disappointed, but the Sarri system, it takes time. I was surprised actually how quickly they seem to get all the Sarri ball under the system in the last 2 matches, Lazio, which was, so this was kind of the compensation for that, how quickly they seem to get it under the skin in the first 2 matches. But this match, yeah, they was just toothless. There was no chances created this match from Lazio. Very disappointed. Pulgar Sensi swap. Yeah, how are you going to convince Fiorentina to do that? You tell me that, Gerald. How are you going to convince Fiorentina to do that type of swap? But that would be probably something that would be ideal. Someone that doesn't get injured. I think people are very, very negative about the result. Obviously, Smiley coming in with the positivity as usual because it's the first disappointing result in a while. Yeah, this is the first disappointing result in the Inzaghi era. But as I said, international break, injuries, lack of match fitness, players flying in from one day before. Yeah, I was not surprised. I'm not really that negative about this performance. Now, if Real Madrid, the result is very important in the Real Madrid match. Don't get me wrong, but I do want to see an improvement in performance at least. At the beginning of the season, I don't really care about performances because, as we saw last year, so, and as we're seeing, like when we have a new coach to implement ideas, it takes time. So I'm not too concerned with these types of performances as long as we keep getting results. And then, like we did last year, when Conte found the winning formula, then you stick to that, and then you can have a run to the end of the season. And that's how Allegri used to do with the Juventus teams, stumbling or okay until November, December, then pow, November, December, finds the formation that he wants, and they just cruise to victory to the end of the season. So I'm not going to be too reactionary in these first few months. I'm actually going to give Inzaghi a lot of benefit of the doubt in the first few weeks, to give him time to understand this team, to give him time to train this team as well. Last disappointing match probably had against Spezia in April. Yeah, you're probably right. We were really spoiled towards the end of last season under the Conte. That after the run, it was like smooth sailing till the end, and that Juventus match. Sharif says if Inzaghi is trying to get Luis Alberto out of Hakan, he will need some time. No reason to be harsh on him now. Exactly, and that's a new position for Hakan as well. It's not too dissimilar to the position he kind of played at Milan. He played attacking midfield, but it wasn't, right behind the striker. He was coming deep and kind of to the left like he is right now. But it's still a new position in a new, completely different system. So let's tone it down on the Hakan hate. Would love Kostic, but the only thing happening in January is the headline Sensi could be like a new signing for Inter. For sure. That's the guys, don't expect anything in January. I'm not expecting anything in January. So calm your expectations for January. Unless there's like a big injury or a long-term injury, I don't think Inter are gonna delve into the market at all. I don't think we're gonna touch anything. My prediction for our match against Real Madrid, I think we can win, but I just need to see the match news tomorrow when they come in and predict the lineups and see what the match news and injury news is for Real Madrid. But honestly, looking at Real Madrid, and I said this last year, but obviously last year it didn't work out, and the beginning of last year we weren't that good. But as I said, like if we played Real Madrid last season if we played Real Madrid after January last year, we would have beat those guys for sure. But yeah, Ancelotti missing players, a lot of new players in the Real Madrid team. That back line doesn't look great to me. I think we can beat Real Madrid for sure. Handa almost conceded from every shot, almost conceded from a bad Kandreva cross. Yeah, well, I mean, that was actually a decent save, that one, the bad Kandreva cross. I have to give him credit for that one. Because no keeper expects that cross to go almost in. So credit for him on that one. But yeah, every other shot, you've watched Handanovic and you just like one eye just cringing, just like hope he doesn't spill it, hope he doesn't do something stupid. It's just, this is not what you want for an Inter goalkeeper. You should be confident in him. Bastoni, no, I don't think he's going to be back for that. Apparently till now. We'll see the news, but at the moment the news coming out of the Inter camp is not good, that he's going to miss the Real Madrid match as well. So he might be back for the Bologna game next weekend. Yeah, man, very sad Sub-Zero, very sad for Sensi. It's just how it is, but there's only so much sadness you can have, because he's one of my favorite players, but I've grown quite cold to this now, because he's a professional athlete, he's a professional footballer. This is part of the game. If he can't hack it, he needs to go. Ancelotti is the Champions League boss, so Limon better prepare. Yeah, man, Ancelotti is such a Champions League merchant. This guy in the league, very, very poor record overall in his career for league, his league record. But when it comes to Champions League, this guy is like Thanos. So I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid flop in the league this year, even maybe drop out of top 4, but end up getting into the final of the Champions League. Yeah, Royal Intruso, we literally just pulled that up a minute ago, looking at Real Madrid losing to Celta Vigo. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it in terms of my thoughts. 45 minutes of a post-match reaction. 2-2, guys, it's not the end of the world. Let's not overreact. We're up there. Let me pull up the Serie A table actually as a last bit to talk about and have a look at, because it is still positive. We're still right up there. It's very early days. I don't even like looking at the table this early on because it's like literally pointless. Roma coming up there at the moment, still winning 1-0, up with Milan and Napoli with the full 9 points. Fair play to them. But yeah, 7 points, guys. Goal difference is looking quite good. 9 goals. So we're top scorers at the moment in the league alongside Lazio. But Lazio had that, match against Spezia. Worrying defensive signs. Even today, guys, actually, I forgot to talk about defensively. We did concede a little bit too many like opportunities here and there, which I wasn't, overly happy about. But once again, it is the whole, lack of match fitness in terms of a lot of, players not being 100%. But some of the signs are a little bit worrying. We're letting in more shots than I was expecting. But yeah, not looking too bad, to be honest. 6 goal difference, 7 points. But yeah, this is at least let's laugh a little bit for Juventus. -2 goal difference, 1 point. 3 goals scored, 5 conceded. Geez, 2 draws, 2 losses, 1 draw. Spalletti coming through yesterday. My guy Spalletti, put some respect on the name. Yeah, so it's not the end of the world, guys. Let's not overreact. There was some news about Kostic for Inter in last Mercato. There's news that Perisic wants to be out in winter transfer. Yeah, but I don't really see that because Perisic is an expiring contract. Why would he want to leave midway through? Like, I think he would want to finish his last year into, let's not forget, Perisic has been there since 2016. He's a long-serving player. It's going to be 6 years at Inter. So I don't see him wanting to leave in the January window. That would be weird. Unless if Inter wanting to sell him just to make some sort of money, that makes sense. But I don't see Perisic wanting to leave. Yeah, exactly. As Sub-Zero says, we could have easily beat them in Madrid, man. Like, we were missing Lukaku that match. I remember Perisic had to play up front, but we still could have beat them. And Hakimi gifted them that goal. But yeah, that Real Madrid team has not been impressive for a while now. Luke says, a Juve fan, what a day. Inter Lazio all drop points. Forza Juve, let's win the league. I mean, we dropped points, but we still had more points than you guys got. So we might have dropped points, but we still had, you guys still lost points compared to Inter. Kulibaba says 1-1. Or is it? Oh, Roma. Oh, who scored for Roma now? Sorry, for Sassuolo. Let's have a quick look. Filip Juricic. Yes, I've got him on my fantasy Serie A team. Nice. Yeah, interesting. This Dionisia Sassuolo is not doing too bad. Finally, Spalletti won against Allegri. Yeah, poor guy. And apparently Allegri was like crying after the match, and Spalletti was like, "Why? I'm finally winning against this guy, and now he's crying." But yeah, I'm happy for him, man. Yeah, guys, thank you for joining me. 38 people right now. Make sure before you leave, guys, please make sure you leave a thumbs up. And if you're interested to support the channel, you can join up the channel membership, like Sharif, my guy here, has. The first month of your pledge goes to the Pupi Foundation, Javier Zanetti's charity, for their, what their work they do. So the first month goes to them. I thought it would be a good thing to contribute towards. But yeah, it's nothing that, no one's forced to do anything. It's just if you want to support the channel. Thank you, everyone that's joined up today. As always, guys, Forza Inter. And tomorrow, I don't know why I say tomorrow so weirdly. Tomorrow, Inter versus Real Madrid match preview with a Real Madrid fan. So keep a lookout, probably around 6:30 UK time. I'm looking to do it with Mudassir, big Real Madrid fan. So keep a lookout for that. Ciao ragazzi, Forza Inter.